You're listening to Parasearch Radio, news, views and reviews from the world of the paranormal from across the UK and beyond. Find us on Facebook, Twitter and the World Wide Web. Parasearch UK Radio. Parasearch Radio, broadcasting to the UK and beyond.
The views and opinions expressed by presenters and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Parasearch Radio or its affiliates and sponsors. Listener discretion is advised. You're listening to The Spectral Zone with host Caz Rooney.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Spectral Zone on Parasearch Radio. I'm Caz Rooney, and tonight I'm being joined by MedicineWalker, all the way in Michigan.
Yeah, Michigan. The U.S. of A.
The U.S. of A. Yeah, you've been on before, haven't you, Bear?
Yeah, I was on with Sean, who's also amazing. You guys are all amazing over there. I love all you guys. I've been listening in archives, but I haven't really been able to sit. This is actually, on your show, the first day that I've been able to sit more than an hour. So I'm really excited about this today.
Well, I'm excited to have you on. Now, for anyone who doesn't know better, you are an artist and an empath and a spiritual teacher. Fair enough to say that, yeah?
Yeah. I'm many things to many people, and I really don't typically label because, as you well know, and I'm not putting you on place or anything, but as you well know, we're always growing and we're always learning. We're teachers, we're students all at the same time. So, it's kind of hard to label anything. I've seen spirit since I can remember. I've heard animals and nature talk to me since I can remember. And to be honest with you, I thought everybody could when I was little.
Wow. Now, we have picked a really good subject for tonight, haven't we?
Yeah, I think so.
Animals?
You and Carrie crack me up when you talk about the animals. So, yeah, we're going to play Dr. Dolittle and talk to the animals tonight.
But it is an important subject, isn't it? Because animals are as intuitive as humans, I think.
I would beg to differ that nature in itself is far more aware and intuitive than most human beings. You can look at them and learn so many life lessons from them that they can teach us if we just pay attention. Yeah.
Now, we won't talk about small insects at the moment.
Why not?
Because, I don't know if you know about this, but we have a spider serial killer in the UK that lives in Canvey Island with a Hoover who doesn't like spiders. You just think Kerry's sitting there going, I cannot believe she's went there.
Well, I can tell you that before I got threw my back out it's been about a month, a little over a month now. I got, and Carrie, you'll appreciate this, and Caz, you will too. I was out mowing my lawn, and this was before I threw my back out, and I got bit by a huge wolf spider that was the size of probably about a quarter, the body. And I got bit twice, and I'll have to show you. I won't. It's big. There's 2 bites on the top of my bicep.
Wow.
And it's still not healed, and it's been over a month. So, yeah, they're here to teach us lessons, though, too.
Yeah, that's true. Now, something that interests me when it comes to animals, I mean, when you're looking back centuries and centuries, if you look at the ancient Egyptians, for example, if you look at China, I mean, animals are really significant spiritually.
Oh, they've
always been. So it isn't something necessarily new, but it isn't covered as much, I don't think.
Well, I think that in all cultures, it doesn't matter what culture or what religion that you go to, I feel that you always see very similar animals, and then of course you have the regional animals, but they all carry a form of teaching, spiritualism, and what I call magic.
Yeah.
There's a lure and a mystical quality to them, like the jaguar, okay, or the cheetah or the cougar, depending on what area of the world you live in.
Mm-hmm.
They were used in Egypt. They were kept as pets by the pharaoh. They were considered great magic, and it's like mysticism. So yeah, you're right. It goes way back in time, way back in time.
To the actual extent, pharaohs, when a pharaoh passed away, his animals or pets and his servants were all, well, how could you put that better? They were all
mummified and entombed. Yeah, and they were
all basically sent with pharaoh
to guard him and protect him,
and to be with them in the next life.
Well, and you look into even the Greek mythology, Greek mythology even took them into half human, half animal, and half nature. So, they're all part of us. And what's sad to me is that in 2018, humans have kind of walked away from the respect of many of them. And we have lost our compassion. We have lost our respect for nature, period. So it's kind of nice to keep that up. And it's been a big part of who I am all my life. And I actually had some issues a few years back with some stuff. And one of a good friend of mine who's a Native American that's she takes care of NAMA, which is the Native American Music Awards. She actually got hold of me and she said, Bear, you need to teach about the animals. You need to teach about nature more. You need to be, and she's right. We need to champion them. So by championing them, we get to know them more. We get to know, what each creature can share with us and teach with us. What do you think is the first and most often asked question that people ask me when they talk to me about the animal spirits? What do you think is the first question they ask?
Are the animals still with them?
That's probably number 3 on the list.
Okay.
But they all want to know what their animal guide or their animal spirit is, or their animal totem is.
Totem, yeah.
Right. And what I will tell people, and they always get mad at me, but I always tell them, so if you're in school and you're in a math class and you have a test coming up, do you go up to the professor or the teacher and say, can I have the answers to the test so I know what to write tomorrow? And they look at me and they go, what's that got to do with it? I said, well, it's your animal. It's your quest. So you need to find it. You need to relate to what relates to you. So what I tell people, and you might want to look at your own life as an example.
Yeah.
And it can be an insect. It can be flight. It can be four-leggeds. It can be swimmers. You know, it can be many things. Okay, it doesn't have to be just one. Although you typically have one, like I have Bear that walks with me, right?
Yeah.
So look at an animal that you have an affinity with, that you've had affinity with since you were a child. Like, say some people love horses, okay? And ever since they were little, they collected horses. They, you know, like figurines and books, and couldn't get enough things about horses. Well, 9 times out of 10, that's probably one of your main totems and guides that you draw energy from. So what is yours? What do you think about yours? What do you think yours is?
Do you know actually what I've always been drawn to and what I've always liked? This is going to sound so funny to people, but tropical fish.
No, it doesn't sound funny to me at all. I think that's amazing.
I had a tropical fish tank for years and years. When I moved here, I had to sadly get rid of it, but I'm looking at getting another one. But I absolutely love that. I could literally sit in the room with just the fish tank and some music playing and watch that for hours.
So then when Carrie brings that boat that she was going to, you know, float over here to the States, you can pick whatever room you want in my home, because I have huge aquariums all throughout my home. Yes. I've had aquariums since I was 10 years old.
Wow.
So no, I get it. You know, you're drawn to water. So perhaps with nature, okay, because you don't have to have a spirit animal or a spirit guide, perhaps one of your totems or your spirit guides is actually water. Did you ever think about that?
Do you know what? That's actually a very good point, because where I actually live as well, there's kind of like a forest, woods, about a 5-minute walk away. You walk all the way through and it takes you down to the River Don. Yep. And so I could quite happily sit there and watch canal boats going up and down all day. I could quite happily sit there all day with a book.
So part of your totem makeup, your totem or spirit guide or your driving force that you get power from is the elemental of water. Ah. Never thought about it that way, huh?
I didn't. I just thought it found it calming.
But see, there's some people that rather be on land. Okay, so they like more like the woods. Not that they don't like water, but they're drawn to the woods or the mountains or you know, that kind of a thing. So you know, that's earth. You maybe they like to grow and plant things, and you know, they love the trees and they love flowers and growing them and having a garden. Okay, well, that can be the elemental of earth having influence with you. Does that make sense?
That does actually make sense.
Yeah, a lot of people don't think about that. That's it's you know, animals are great, and I'm not saying that people don't have animal guides, but there's more to it. There's also, and I'm sure you know some people, matter of fact, there might be somebody really on the shows that you know that have rocks and crystals that love them and collect them and are drawn to them and pick them up and can talk to them and know their energies without even trying to find out. You know, and that's a mental, you know, that's other than the mental, you have the crystals and the stone people. Okay. Those are also totems. So there's a lot of different things that can kind of, you know, walk through your life and offer you assistance. And people just are not always aware.
So, Bear, I mean, if someone said to you they seem to be always drawn to horses, for example, or rabbits, or whatever it was, you could explain that to them as being maybe a guide to them, and that's why they're being drawn.
Absolutely. Or it could be that there's a lesson they need to learn from them right now. So there's many totems that'll come through your life to bring you different lessons at the time. Now, if yours was a horse, for instance, maybe it wasn't something that was around you all your life, but all of a sudden, everything around you, you look on the computer and a horse pops up. Or you're driving down the road on a bus or in a car, and you see horse lane or a livery or the stables, or there's like constant reminders of horses. Okay, well, what does the horse teach you? Well, the horse is there's kind of two ways. There's how when you do, like, people do tarot cards, they're either upside down or they're reversed or they're like normal. Well, it's the same thing when you look at animal totems. So a horse can represent a couple things. A horse can be that you're in a stable, you're cooped up, you're feeling kind of like locked into something, or you're feeling confined. Okay, so a horse is all about the wide open space. Okay, that you need to open to other possibilities, or perhaps, depending on the situation, it's you need to move away from being confined, because you're putting everything in a box, you're putting everything and confining it yourself, and not letting it out so that new possibilities come in. So the horse has many different things. If you go to bear, for example, bear represents the West on a medicine wheel, and it's about endings. It's about introspective, time where you go deep in the cave and you clean it out, and depending on what kind of bear, it could be it's hibernation time, or it's springtime, or there's all different things that fall into that. So it's not really a simple answer, and it's never the same for each person. Does that make sense?
Yes, it's individual to each person, what it could mean.
Correct.
Yeah. So do you think everybody has animal guide, maybe? Do you think that's possible?
That everybody has a guide or an elemental, whether it's an elemental, whether it's earth, wind, fire, whether it's rocks, whether it's crystals, whether it's animals. I do believe they're protectors there. I also believe that, like what you brought up a while ago, are my animals with me that have passed.
Yeah.
I know for a fact they are. There's many times that I'll see people or meet people or be doing readings for people, and I'll see animals around them or creatures around them that have passed, and you don't always know people, and I actually don't want, when I do readings, I don't like people telling me stuff, because the message isn't really for me. The message is for the person getting the reading. Okay. I will tell you this, and I don't typically remember when I do readings, I don't typically remember what is said. Okay. After an hour after I do a reading. Okay. The only way I know is when they get back to me and they'll write to me about, oh my gosh, this happened and I never thought about this, and you brought this up, and it's like, holy wow, okay. And I had a person that I read for just before I had my injury, and they got back to me, I don't know, it's been a couple weeks now, and she wrote to me, and apparently I kept telling her I was seeing some kind of small breed dog around her, okay? And apparently I was insisting that this dog was around her, And she, for the life of her, apparently while I was doing the reading, didn't know. And I told her, just shelf it and you'll figure it out. It's you've got that message, so let's move on.
Mm-hmm.
So she wrote me a message and she said, oh my gosh, I have absolutely no idea why I didn't think about this. But she told me of an older person that was a mentor to her,
Mm-hmm.
that had recently passed away, who had this was the breed of dog that this woman always had.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept telling her, I guess that the dog was running like around her as she was sitting in a particular chair or something.
Yeah.
And it never even dawned on me. So it made her feel so good that she realized what was going on, because a lot of times we have these preconceived notions of what we're going to hear or see. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's why I always tell people, look, this is how it works. I am a spiritual medium. I see things and I hear things and I let spirit work through me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what's going to come through on any given time. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're going to have grandma walk through the door, or an aunt or an uncle or a long lost friend. I have no clue. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I have no clue if they'll give me a name. All I know is what they give me is they give me the information that's needed at that moment in time to move forward in positives in
Mm-hmm.
their life, to resonate with them. And that's not to say I won't get names, or I won't get, I won't get specifics. That's not what I'm saying. But sometimes it's not about the specifics. It's about the message.
That is so true.
So whether it's animals or it's, elementals, or no matter what it is, okay, mm-hmm. It doesn't matter, because all that matters is the message. And it's the same thing with animals that we see. Every creature, everything, this is my belief, everything that has an essence of a soul, that has life, okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Even water, okay,
yeah.
has life, okay? Mm-hmm. We're like 90+% water.
Exactly.
So we need that. Everything that has an essence of life, essence of a soul, has something to teach us.
Now, I've got a thing. This is something I've been thinking about a lot. People who are more spiritually minded seem to be, I mean, you were talking about, sadly, we seem to have lost kind of respect for animals around us today, and that's true. I have seen that a lot. But do you not feel that people who are spiritually minded, we intuitively can connect to pets?
Not everybody. Again, it's based on, okay, when we come into this world as human, it is mm-hmm. my belief that every child born, every mm-hmm. human being born has the ability to communicate with whatever it is that's not like past, the divide, on the other side, through the veil, however you want to label it. And again, I hate labels.
I completely agree with that. Okay? I do completely agree with that.
I worked at Children's Hospital in Detroit for many years, and I worked from everything with neonatal babies to older kids that were 18, through every imaginable phase of their being, okay? And I'm a firm believer that we all have this gift, but as society kind of limits what we do, although now in 2018,
it kind of molds you into a certain...
Yeah, it's much more accepted than it was. Yeah. Like we were talking, it's kind of like it was really accepted, like in Egyptian times, in the Pharaoh times, way back when, in the Druids and all that. It was really accepted. And then we reached this point where they just decided that people who heard voices, everybody that heard voices were crazy, and put them in asylums or locked them up, put them away and you never saw them again, you know? So it's really changed. So I believe that we all have the ability, we're born with it, and I think society nurtures and nurtures that into what it turns out to be. I've walked away from it like 4 times in my lifetime. And every time I came back, I had a different component when I walked back into it. And now I was told a number of years ago, like back in, I think it was like 2002, you're not walking away from it anymore. This is what you do. Yeah. So, you know, and it's about that. We have choice. Yeah, we do have choice. And we have this is, you know, to do this, and I kind of chuckle because I always say it's a gift and it's a curse. Yeah. And it depends on how you look at it, because there's a lot of people out there that are what a lot of people call plastic, you know, the plastic mediums, the phonies, you know, you know, the people that are out there that are taking advantage of a gift or pretending to have a gift or whatever it is. This is a great responsibility. Yeah. And it can really eat you alive if you allow it to. Okay. And it's taken me, I'm 57 now, and it's taken 57 years to deal with it so that it doesn't, I don't drink. Yeah. I may have a beer every now and then, like with a steak, but I don't drink a full beer. Okay. It's really unheard of. I don't do drugs. And I'm not saying that people that have them or drink, you know, I'm not saying these people are bad. I'm not saying that at all. This is my choice, because this is the way I control all the spirit that comes through. Yeah. Because I can't tell you how many times you wake up in the middle of the night. It's bad enough now. And it's knock, knock. Hey, bear. Hey, bear. Hey, bear. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what do you want? It's like, well, we're so-and-so is going to, you know, be, so-and-so is going to be talking to you later today. Okay, so wait till later today. You know what I mean? Wait till later today. So they actually wake you at night. But it's like crazy. So you have to have a filter. You do have to. I think many people have many gifts, and they're varied on how they come through. That's my belief. Yeah. Now, back to animals. I mean, as healers, do you well, did I lose somebody? No. Do you see animals as healers? For some people, that's a belief I have. I believe some animals are actually healers. So, I lost you. Have you lost me? Bear? Can you hear me? Oh, there you are. See, Spirit's screwing with us already. Isn't that right? Do you feel that animals, this is a belief that I have, but some animals are actually healers? Yes, absolutely. Yes. Absolutely. And I think that many people that have pets, especially like older people or people, like I saw a lot of it when the kids had pets come in, or they have pets and they're ill, or I can even speak for the animals I have. You know, they know when you're not right, and they'll go to the area of your body and reside there until you're better. Now, can you explain to everyone, I mean, spirits of animals that have passed on. So say when you're working mediumistically, if you get an animal coming through, how would you explain to people how that animal's communicating to you? I see them, I hear them, they talk to me, they tell me things, like telepathically they talk. Yeah. But I see them, like I saw this woman with the dog. I have had my own animals. When they passed, there was one in particular that left with a roommate. And the dog kept showing up at my house, and I kept seeing this dog, and my other dogs saw the dog, and he actually sat in his favorite chair. And I was like, I called the person that had him, and I said, what's going on? And the dog had passed. So I see them just like you would see them. I see spirit just the way they want me to see them, to relay them to a person. Okay, so say you had, Uncle so-and-so passed, and, you hadn't seen him in 20 years or whatever, but they come across how they want to be remembered. So they may come back through this is a good example. I had some people that passed away in Vietnam, okay, and they came back to their moms. And they were 19 again in full uniform.
Wow.
And I could see their name on their uniform.
Wow.
So it just depends on, and then I've seen people that have lost grandparents, including my own grandmother. She came to me when I was 14, sat on the end of my bed. My father saw her too, actually, which was cool. But I sat up in her and I talked, and I still see her. And she isn't 16 or 20. She's the way she was when I last saw her, healthy. So it depends on how they want to be related to come across to that person. I'll have a person that comes in that perhaps lost a child. And it doesn't always happen because the message might not be as important that you see them as what the words are that need to be shared. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
But I will see them, and if the parents are being so stubborn, I'll say, okay, well, he's just telling me or she's just telling me about blah, blah, blah. And I won't even know that they've lost a child. Okay. And they're telling me about blah, blah, blah. And this young man is between, 14 and 17. He's shaking his head. Yes, he's blonde. He's green-eyed,
Yeah.
He's wearing this really weird hoodie, so they give me specifics. And then sometimes because they're trying to get an image through so strongly, you can't always hear them because you're looking at them. So they're using their energy to show themselves to you. Okay. So then they'll say, well, do you have a name? And I'll hear really muffled. It's really really super muffled. And I'll hear a J, or I'll get an S, or, whatever it is. And I'll say, well, he's saying a J name, and I'll say Jacob, Jerry. It's I'll get part of it, but it's a specific letter, and then it relates back to the clothing and how they were and the setting they were in. So it's all a process. So animals come through the same way, and it's really a very big message of love that they come through. Because they want the people to know that they're okay. They want the people to know they're okay. And they're still there if they need them.
We've got a question from Alan Crabtree.
Okay.
In the chat room. He's saying, past pets. I've seen my old dog several times, feel her around a lot of the time. Got a picture of a ghost doggy. What does this mean?
He's got a picture of a ghost dog, he took a picture? Is that what he's saying? It just means that it's trying to manifest so that it's validating that what he's feeling is actually around him. They'll often too, when this is always amusing to me as well, they'll come in sometimes, like if you, like after a period of time, say you get another dog after a dog's passed that you've had for years and years, okay?
Mm-hmm.
They'll show up, the dog that's passed will show up to kind of say, it's okay. Kind of let you know it's okay that you're moving on and you have another dog. I know I'll always be part of this family. I know I'll always be around you, and I'm always here. So when they manifest in photos, and it's the same way with people. It's the same way with any kind of spirit. Okay, when they manifest in photos, it's to let you know that they're there. And it's actually very difficult for them to manifest that energy to be able to communicate with people in that way. Because there's so much out there, although now with research today, which is absolutely phenomenal, how far we've come scientifically with the research. Mm-hmm. The world of spirit isn't a joke anymore. No. People are scientifically taking the research to heart. They're giving us scientific evidence that there's really no other way or anything that it can be but spirit. So it kind of gives all people like myself or, readers, card readers, whatever, mm-hmm. kind of that validation that, yeah, we're not nuts. Well, we may be, we're not like totally off our rockers anyway.
I mean, it is more accepted these days, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I think with good people out there that are doing amazing research, and I mean, again, you're going to have your frauds, you're going to have your fakes. I think a lot more is accepted over in your country mm-hmm. than in mine. Okay. But I think that there is more, like I said, scientifically, the research that's coming through, that's what I look for. Okay, when I'm looking at shows and I'm looking at people that are out there in the world that are doing this stuff, I'm looking for new research, new things that are bringing through things that can't be explained away, Yeah. So yeah, it's 2018, and I can't wait to see what's coming every day. Something new.
But that's part of it, isn't it? I mean, that constant, it's almost like we're on a constant learning curve. Yeah. I don't know if you would agree with that, but we're constantly learning, whether it be from other people who come into our lives, might not always be in our lives, or people we just meet, or people we spend maybe an evening with, but you'll take something away from that. It's like a continuous learning curve.
Well, like I said to you earlier today, mm-hmm. it's like we're all teachers, but we're also all students because we are all learning. So there's always something new around the corner. And, mm-hmm. There's one thing, and this I find, this is one of the annoying things I find in this field, is there's a lot of ego.
Yeah.
And for me, it's not about ego. It's about learning. It's about teaching. It's about getting the messages to the people that need to hear them. It's about giving some peace to grieving people. It's about sharing stories and lessons that will teach other people to open themselves to new things. Mm-hmm. I always laugh because one of my favorite creatures is the duck. Really? I love ducks. D-U-C-K. Ducks. I love ducks. And if people would sit for even 15, 20 minutes and watch a mother duck with the babies, not interact with them, just sit and watch them. Their tenacity, how they teach, how they learn to swim, how they learn to have no fear. Like I'll see, I'm sure you've all seen the videos where, you see the ducks and the mom goes up the step. She hops. She got 2 feet. She's kind of off center balance. She doesn't use her wings to climb the stairs. Mm-hmm. She hops up them. Okay. And you see all them little boogers behind her and they make it up. No matter how they do it, they make it up. Even the last one will make it up those steps. Same thing as if they go like to my seawall and it's like a 3-foot drop down to the water. And Mom's up there and she just jumps down into the water and, you know, you'll say like there's 10 ducks, right? Mm-hmm. 6 of them just go and follow her right up, jump. No fear, just don't think. Then there'll be a couple that'll walk up and they'll look and they'll take a running, like back up a little bit and run and just plop, right into the water after. Then there'll be those 1 or 2 that'll come up and they're just like people. Okay. So they have those same, like, the same traits as people. They go up to the side and they're like, no way. I'm not jumping off this. Mom, are you crazy? Meantime, Mom just quacks back to them and they're like, she's taking off in the water and they're like looking at each other going, holy crow, she's leaving without us. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? Those little boogers look for a low place, right, along the seawall. Mm-hmm. And they go zipping down to that low place. So it's not 3 feet. It's only now 6 inches. And they jump in and they swim as fast as they can to catch up with Mom and their siblings. These are lessons. Yeah. These are lessons. These are amazing lessons that nature has to teach us.
You have another question actually from Alan. Okay. And Alan's asking you, Bert, do you think with the paranormal in general, including animal communication, it is scientifically explainable? Do you think science will be able to explain it?
I think science is already explaining a lot of it. Mm-hmm. It can't be explained away anymore. I think there's just too much evidence out there that, like, how else can you explain it? I think that we will find more and more. Whether scientists will believe it or accept it will be a totally different game. But yes, I believe that let me put it this way. I hope that I live to see the day that the science comes together with the people with the gifts, the researchers that are out there doing this research every day, committing their lives to the research. Yeah. I hope I live to see the day that it blends and people say, you're right. You can't explain it away. You know, there's some amazing equipment out there right now that even today I get blown away from. I mean, I'm just amazed by. There's a ghost box that's out that runs on crystals that a gentleman created. And I think it was Katrina Weidman and Nick Groff on Paranormal Lockdown. And I saw them use it for the first time. And there was things that were coming through that box that there was no way it could be coming from anything else other than a spirit realm. It's the same thing when you go old school and you have a voice recorder and you pick up faint whispers and you can hear whole sentences or words or names being given. How can you explain that away? You can't. At least in my eyes and my thought pattern, you can't.
No, I don't think you can explain that away, actually. I really don't. Now, James Steele, who is in the chat room, is giving us all a bit of a lesson because we didn't know. And he said, Canadian geese bow. If you bow to them, they'll bow back.
Yep.
If they are chicks and you're respectful. And he was really amazed by this, the way they bowed back.
Yep, they bow back. The only thing is you have to be a certain distance, especially if they have young. I have Canadian geese here, and I actually have the swans will do the same thing. If you're respectful to them, they will also, James, they will also bow down to you. And I just sit, because I'm on the water, I just sit here and they don't feel a threat from me. They don't even feel a threat from my dog, and they have never felt a threat from my dog. Even now, though, he's 17 and he's blind and deaf. So, but he's a cattle dog. He's an Australian cattle dog. So his whole purpose was to round up critters. And before he went blind and deaf, he used to just lay down in the yard and he'd let them come up because that's how I raised him. And they would come probably within 3 feet of him and they never bothered him. They never felt threatened by them. But if you do things to make them feel threatened, of course they're going to attack you. But yeah, it's really a cool thing to communicate. That's really cool. That's a good topic there, James. Thanks for bringing that up. It's a great thing.
Brent's in the chat room and he says he hopes you're feeling better now. Yep,
that's why I'm on the show, Brent, who had a birthday.
Yes, he did, didn't he?
Yeah, he had a birthday. He's an old man.
Belated happy birthday, Brent. So, what would you like to see happen in regards to animals? Would you hope that spiritually people are going to be...
They're not. Not.
Yeah, they maybe not, but would you hope maybe in the future people will be more respectful and more in tune?
Well, the thing that I always hold in high regard and prayer is that people and children and the creatures that we have been given to share the world we walk will be able to respect each other and walk in harmony at some point. And no, I don't have a Coke commercial playing in my head right now. Thank you. Want to bring the world to... Yeah, they're singing. Spirit is singing to me right now, so they're laughing at me. But it's. I don't think I'll ever live to see that day, sadly, because people don't respect each other. They don't have a sense of family anymore. I think that's kind of sort of why I live, and I always say, and you'll see it on my blogs, you'll see it on my pages, you'll hear it on my shows. I say I live in a cave on a lake in the woods for a reason. I like to go outside and watch my hawks, play and dance in the sky. I like to watch the squirrels chase each other through the trees. I like the eagles coming in. I can set a clock. That's my clock when they come out here to hunt on the lake. You know what I mean?
Wow.
The fish, different times of the day. That's why, the plants that are outside that I have, some that sprout up and you wonder, how the heck did that get there? That tree just came down and we have a 3-foot tree, like a grandchild of the tree that went down, now coming up and is strong. And I respect that. So hopefully, I think the best thing that I can hope for, and I do see in some extent now, but I hope I see it in more, is that people, not because it's not going to happen. I'm realist. I'm a realist. I'm very blunt. Not all people are going to do this, and it's going to be a very small percentage, but that there'll be a small percentage out there that will keep our bees healthy, that will keep our elephants wild and walking and roaming where they are, that will still be able to have lions and tigers roaming the wild, that we won't see some small frog that is in a rainforest go extinct. That's what I hope and pray, because when all this stuff starts disappearing, stuff that you and I grew up with, that was always around us, that's when it's going to be super sad in this world. And it's bad enough the way it is now, but when it all starts to continue to disappear, that's when we're all going to be in for a world of hurt.
I would agree with you there. I really would. I don't think people appreciate nature enough. Put it that way.
It's all about balance. Nature is all about balance. So you have to have the water. You have to have the sunlight.
Exactly.
You have to have the night sky and the moon. You have to have the stones and the crystals. You have, they all balance. And if you think of modern medicine, people are starting to use crystals again to heal and stones to heal again. They're going back to using plants and herbs, to heal again. They're going back to, we don't want, GMOs or, whatever, in our food. This is a small handful of people are going back to that balance. Will we see the world balance like that? No, we won't. I don't think we'll live to see it. Now,
Sarah's in the chat room.
Hi, Sarah.
Sarah's a friend, and she said that where she lives, they have a pair of crows that watch out for her. She says when she takes the dogs out for a walk, they always stay with them, but always about 20 foot ahead of them, but they always stay with them, these two crows.
Yep. Well, then she's connected.
Oh, yes, she is.
And the crows are more than likely, the ravens or crows, whatever they are connected to her in some sort of way, as she is probably a medium or an empath or a spiritualist, and they connect her through the veil and bring messages to her. So they stay with her and watch over her. Not so much that they're watching over her, they're walking with her. Does that make sense? They're walking with her. They're walking in step with her. So they're in tune. See, and I have ravens and crows show up. They're always yelling at me. So it's like, okay, well, you ain't listening again, and you need to listen. So if they're yelling at you, they're trying to get you to listen and open to the possibilities of what messages are coming through. But with her, I believe that's her. That's like Bear is with me. The ravens and crows are with her.
Well, Gary's in the chat room, and Gary turned around and says, no, Sarah's a witch. But she is actually a witch. So it's not meant as an insult.
Yeah, but that's not was it yourself that I was talking to earlier today? And we were talking about how people look on certain things. They look, when you say the word witch, it's like, it represents witchcraft, and it represents the bad things that Hollywood and entertainment world have made us think that.
Yeah, and it isn't anything like that.
It's nothing like that at all. Witchcraft has been around witchcraft is actually a healing, and in many ways, we probably have a lot of good things that we can learn from witchcraft and witches that are out there today that know the craft. Are there going to be good witches and bad witches? Oh, absolutely. Are there going to be good bears and bad bears? Absolutely. But that's what you have to test and check out and pay attention to, but there's so much we can learn from all these modalities, and that's when ego gets involved, that all this stuff happens, and people start getting bullied and badmouthed.
Gary has also said that his main guide is a Kiowa chief called Lone Wolf.
Okay.
I've said that completely wrong, but you'll get the gist of what I mean.
Now can I tell you, this is another myth. Okay, Gary, I'm not trying to offend you in any way, but I would say if your main guide there is a wolf, say it's a wolf, because lone wolf, and this is not something that a lot of people again pay attention to, is a wolf that's been cut from the pack, that's ill, that's dying, that has something wrong with it. Wolves don't travel alone. Wolves travel in packs. They're family. They're very tight and support with each other. They raise the young. Okay, every member of the pack helps to raise the cubs. So when you say lone wolf, that's really not what you want to say. And again, I'm not trying to be insulting, but it's not what you want to say. If you have a wolf that walks with you, that's amazing. but a lone wolf kind of means you're not healthy and you shouldn't be trusted.
Oh, well, he's saying that's his main guide. Isn't saying it's him, but he's saying it's one of his main guides.
Yeah, well, it can be his guide, but it shouldn't be, again, it's not a lone wolf, because wolf come from packs. Maybe an alpha wolf, but not a lone wolf. That goes back way, way back. And I know he's probably sitting there, yeah, she didn't know what she's talking about.
I probably explained it wrong. It's probably me. So, say somebody was coming to you and wanted to learn about animals and communication.
Okay.
What would be the most important thing for them, do you think they need to learn?
Patience.
Mm-hmm.
A place to sit and listen and watch.
Yeah.
Observe. So it's like you wanna know about bears. Watch the habits of the bears. Go to the nature channels and watch the bears. Listen to the bears. Read about the bears, but know what you're reading is coming from a good source. Same thing with the wolves. Okay? You want to know about wolves?
Yeah.
Watch them. Watch them on nature channels. You know, read about them. Understand the pack. Understand the scientific information that comes from them. Okay? And you learn. And you learn the lessons that they have to share with us. And again, it's usually an affinity. And when people slow down and have the patience, you're like, oh. I've even had people, and I can tell you, I can dragons. Okay, there are still dragons. The Komodo dragon is there. Lizards I consider dragons. And dragons of old, I believe they were not fantasy. And I can tell you that I do see them in spirit form. I also see dragons, depending on the person, represented in different ways. Dragons can, like a white dragon, can represent a Christ consciousness, okay, or faith-based, okay? So there's different interpretations, and knowing just one is not enough. You need to know, like you need to know the left, the right, and in between, and somewhere together you'll have the answer that people, they'll have the answer they're looking for. Does that make sense? Yeah, that does make sense. You do have to look, because there's more than one meaning. Oh, absolutely. And the native culture, the Native American culture is not the end all die all. And I know I'll probably get a lot of email about that. But they're no different than, the Russians or, the Australians or, they all have somewhere in their history, okay, meanings of these amazing creatures. So you have to look and kind of sense what feels right to you. And if it feels home to you, then it probably is. That just makes perfect sense. It really does. Do you want to tell everyone where they can... Not rocket science. That is true. Now, we have a competition, don't we, Bear? Oh, well, you guys do. Yeah, absolutely. And it's for a reading with you. Oh, gee, really? Yeah, really. So I don't know if you can hear this, but I've got lots of little bits of paper in a bowl. Just going to toss it out and pick one. Okay. And we have a winner for a reading with Bear. And the winner is Ness Watts. Okay. Ness has won. I think Ness is in chat room. Oh, well, congratulations. Give me the information. They can connect with me over on Facebook. If they are on Facebook, they can just inbox me. or inbox you and send me the information, and then I'll reach out to them and we'll get it set up. And we'll, if they're in the UK, we can do it by Skype. Or if they're, I can't even think right now. Or if they're like, whatever, we'll fix it up so that we can get this done in the next couple weeks.
Fantastic. So, Bear, we've shared out the link to your network so that people can go learn more about you, because they're asking.
Okay, sure.
How they can get in touch with you and learn more. So for everybody in the chat room, you really go and join. Honestly, go and join. Bear is just fantastic. We could talk about animals all night.
We could talk about a lot of things all night. So.
That is very, very true.
Now you're going to have to come over. I'm starting my show next month. It will be on the airwaves. So you're going to have to come over and be a guest over there, and we'll sit and BS over there too.
Absolutely. I'd love to.
Yeah, sounds like fun.
I'd love to. But believe it or not, we've been talking for an hour.
Yeah, it goes by quick, doesn't it?
And we basically, we've barely skimmed the surface of this topic. To be fair, it's true though. It's such a big topic, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And there's always something new.
That is very true. That's one lesson you can't forget. There's always a new lesson around the corner. Yeah, there's something new to be learned.
Always, always. Thank you so much for having me on with you tonight. It's always a pleasure over at this radio station. It's amazing. You guys have a great group of people here, and I'm very happy to have been invited for the show tonight. So, blessings to all of you, and y'all take care. And thanks for tuning in to Caz's show here at Parasearch Radio.
Oh, and Brent says I have to send you his love.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Brent.
He's so sweet, isn't he? But everyone, please remember, you can find all the radio shows on YouTube. All you need to do is go on to YouTube and look up Parasearch Radio and subscribe, and you will never ever miss a show. If you don't want to do that, you can find all the shows on SoundCloud. You can find them on Podbean. You can join group page. You can join the like page. You can find us on Twitter. We're on Instagram. We're absolutely everywhere. You can't miss us. Come on, you cannot miss us. No excuses, people. So, Bear, all it remains is for us to say good night to everyone.
Well, good night. I still have some hours here. I'm waiting for the lovely full moon to rise in the sky.
Full moon tonight. Don't forget to charge your crystals.
Yep, and go howl out at it and dance under the moon.
But everyone, good night, and Bear, thank you so much.
Very welcome. Night.
Good night.
Thank you for listening. Don't forget to join us for more shows throughout the week. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and the World Wide Web to keep up to date with all the shows right here on Parasearch Radio.